Greetings and welcome to podcast episode number 243 of RV Industry News, the only podcast devoted to the business side of the recreation vehicle industry. It's a feature we've offered here at RV Daily Report since 2014. I'm Greg Gerber, the editor of RV Daily Report and your host for today's show. Today's podcast is sponsored by Fusion Entertainment, which is revolutionizing the RV industry with its world-class lifestyle entertainment products. Combining industry-leading Garmin, Fusion, and Empire bus technology, the Garmin brand family solution provides you with a completely connected system, delivering you and your customers a superior on-road experience. Operation, navigation, entertainment. One solution, one company. Today's guest is an RV dealer who has developed a service to help coach people into finding, buying, financing, servicing, and using an RV, regardless of where that person might live. Gigi Stetler has been an RV dealer in Florida for many years, but she sensed a need in that people really wanted accurate advice, but didn't know who they could trust to get it. Some questions are far more serious than others, so it's not often the best idea to seek advice from anonymous people on social media. And the cornerstones of the service provided by the RV Advisor are advocacy, community, education, resources, and rewards. Gigi is establishing a network of independent, knowledgeable people around the country who can provide practical advice to RV owners and RV buyers. No, they are not salespeople trying to get folks to buy RVs from her dealership. The advisors will work with people anywhere to help them avoid making mistakes and avoid paying money for things they don't need. The RV Advisor doesn't even sell RVs. Rather, people pay an annual membership to get one-on-one consultations about any issue. For example, people have asked whether they need an extended warranty or what type of insurance works best, and Gigi and her crew can do that for them, give them the advice. The best part of the service is that the RV Advisor can help shoppers educate themselves even when they don't know what questions to ask. Thanks for joining us today, Gigi. I really appreciate it. How'd you come up with the idea of RV Advisor?
Well, I guess in a nutshell, I was kind of tired of giving my advice away for free.
Yeah, so, I understand that.
Yeah, my 32 years of knowledge, and I've been in every aspect of the RV industry. So everything from sales, service, insurance claims, warranty claims, factory, in and out of the factories, and just every aspect. So, and I've well branded myself that every time somebody, has a question or advice, they need advice on purchasing or service or some kind of problems, they call me, and I've been doing it for free all these years. So, but I wanted to kind of, instead of being local, I wanted to nationalize myself and bring that to, through the rest of the country, so I can help people and get people out of the RV horror stories into the RV fun.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So RV Advisor works nationwide. People who are looking for help on buying or using an RV can call you?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And how long has it been in operation?
Well, we did our soft launch in September of 18, and we have been rolling kind of on a soft launch. We're redesigning our website, which we're almost done, but we are basically in full operation. Just haven't really done much on the advertising and promoting side yet because we wanted to make the website perfect.
Okay. And what kind of services are you planning to offer to RV owners and shoppers?
Well, we don't want to be like other online companies that are promoting products. We do offer roadside assistance, extended warranties, tire and wheel, basic services, insurance, things like that, financing. But the real meat and potatoes of our company is advice. And one of our services is GPS, which is Gigi's personal service. And if you were in the market to purchase an RV or you already own one, you can hire me for $350 per year, and that gives you 3 consultations a year. So if you hire me and you're in the market to purchase one, I can help you all the way through the negotiations, through looking at reviewing your contracts. We have a whole legal team here. So we'll look at the contract, the finance contract, the fine print, all the things that you wouldn't normally see and read, whether you're negotiating with a dealer or privately. And we can also, if you were buying privately, we could also offer you a sign and drive policy, which means that you could basically buy an extended warranty before you drive it off the person's lot if you're buying it privately, or through a dealer. But the service, I think the biggest reward is if you already own the RV. We've been helping a lot of people with issues, and I find that what happens is people kind of have been barking up the wrong tree. Sometimes they have an issue, and they think it's a warranty related or a dealer's fault. And when they hire me, I can look at pictures and videotape and stuff like that. And I found the simplest solution. A lot of times things are covered under your insurance, and people don't know that. So, and they think that making a claim on their insurance will raise their rates, and it's not true because it's on the comprehensive side. So
okay.
There's just so many things that people don't know.
And so you don't sell RVs yourself through this service, but you are able to work with people who are working with any dealer or even any private buyer anywhere in the United States.
Yes, like for instance, I have a guy just messaged me now. He just hired me because he wants to buy. He's interested in a toy hauler motorhome, and he was kind of all over the place. I always try to recommend people to buy local, to deal with your local dealer, because it's your local guy that you're going to need service from. Otherwise, you're going to have to drive back to wherever you bought it from. And that's a huge mistake that people make. And the first thing he told me was that the local guy was, I don't know, $20,000 or $30,000 higher. So I directed him to go back to this dealer and let's see if we can make a deal with this dealer, because that's the guy that's got to service him. But you can't beat the dealer up to where he makes nothing, absolutely nothing, and where he doesn't have any money built into to do service. You can't do that. So now I understand $20,000 or $30,000 is a big difference, but by the time we're done, we're going to be about $5,000 difference, and I'm going to encourage him to spend the extra $5,000 and buy local.
Right. And that makes sense because the dealers have to pay for the service department to make it available and stock the supplies and the tools and the equipment that they're going to need to work on the RVs. And the money's got to come from somewhere, and they're not doing it by charging the normal rate for service, especially when they're covering it for warranty.
Well, that's the thing. I think people, they don't understand how the warranty process works, and they think it's just like Ford and Chevy. You could go to any Ford dealer, but each dealer is independently owned, and being independently owned, they only have to service what they sell. And it's on every single manufacturer's website that no dealer is responsible, unless they're the selling dealer. And it's on their website. It's on everybody's website on the manufacturer. So people just they're not getting it. And they're telling you they're to support your local dealer, because, it's like putting money back into your own neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'd agree with that. But one of the biggest problems I think consumers might have when they look to buy an RV is they don't even know what questions to ask.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So what do you recommend in those situations?
That's such an interesting topic, because when you go to my homepage, thervadvisor.com, I have a whole bunch of questions, and I form them in my sleep. It's funny, and I pop up and make notes and have another question. And I think, because I do own a personal dealership, and I take a lot of those questions just based on what the customers are asking me. And it's unbelievable that there are so many new buyers walking into the market right now. And they don't know the questions to ask. And being in this business for so long, I could sell these people anything I want. I could wrap them around my finger, and it's really scary. It's scary to on the consumer side. So that's why I formulate these questions, and they kind of start off like, do you know, did you know, did you know? So I'm kind of trying to give them hints of what they should ask for, and what, between maintenance and there's just so many things. But I think that if they had one consultation with me before they start to shop, because a lot of customers, I find, they talk to too many people, and they what I mean by that is, if if they ask friends and family and, what type of RV or what size should they buy, everyone's recommending things for their use, not for your personal use. So don't think about buying an RV to sleep, the grandkids and the this and that and all this. Buy it for you guys with space on the floor if you have to pitch a mattress, because people make so many mistakes buying, something with bunk beds that they're never going to use. That's why I think that if I could look at a family and a family size in 5 minutes and tell you exactly what you need to buy.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. A lot of people get an RV for the what ifs, and like you said, you have grandchildren, and so eventually you feel that they'll be traveling around the country, and they might for 2 weeks a year. But then the rest of the time you are going to be traveling in the country and have all this extra space that you could use for other things.
Exactly. So that's why I said, like, but I also have customers that'll come in looking for a motorhome. They think they want a motorhome. And after I figure out what they're going to do with it, and, they're going to leave it parked for 3 months, at this campground, and then 3 months at another campground or something. And then I said, no, you need a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, not a motorhome. And by the time I'm done and showing them, the value and the price difference, and that, you could get a trailer delivered, and just, I completely, turn their head around. But if I was an ordinary RV salesman, I'd be selling them I'd have them in a brand new Class A,
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
or whatever I need to get rid of on the lot. But that's the problem.
Okay. And so you can help people resolve those situations, or not even get into them. In the addition to buying local and buying for others, are there any other specific mistakes that dealers or that consumers tend to make when buying an RV?
Oh, so many. Like there's if you were buying new, if you're buying new, sometimes, and it depends on if your local dealer is a really busy dealer, and a volume dealer, I should say, sometimes it's wise to have them register the vehicle as used and buy an extended warranty on it. Then you don't even have to rely on factory warranty. Because if you're traveling, let's say you travel 4, 5, 6 months out of the year, you can't bring it back to your local dealer because you're on the road. So have that dealer title it, register it, sell you an extended warranty, and now you could get service anywhere. And dealers get paid upfront by credit card from the warranty companies and love it.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Basically, when you register it as used, the factory warranty doesn't apply.
Okay. But they can get the extended warranty. That's very
exactly.
Very good idea.
You can get service anywhere, and then by roadside assistance. And actually, if you have roadside assistance, the roadside assistance will come to you, to your location, and do your emergency repairs, and then your extended warranty, you could submit the invoice, or they pay the technician directly. So, and those are things. Now, as far as like factory warranty for other items like trim work and cabinets, stuff like that, that you're gonna you would void your warranty for stuff like that, but you're gonna have to, the most expensive repairs are the stuff that's going to be covered under your extended warranty. Trim and things like that, you may be out of pocket for stuff like that, but you can call the factory directly. They'll send you a piece of trim, cost $20 something, $30, nail it on yourself, or get your repair guy when he's building all the rest of the stuff back. Those are minuscule. All of your appliances have warranties independently of the factory warranty. So there's not, plumbing leaks and things like that you're going to get. That's a big common issue. And the reason that you have so many leaks and things like that is because the dealers aren't prepping them, because the customers don't want to pay a dealer for a PDI. PDI is a pre-delivery inspection. And they don't understand. These units come in from the factory and they take almost 2 days to go through. I had one come in last week, Forest River product, and they forgot to put the kitchen sink. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it, broke or something. And anyway, when we went to just install another kitchen sink, they forgot to hook up the plumbing. There's no plumbing. So,
oops.
Yeah. No plumbing.
Yeah.
And, so had that had gone had a customer walked in to buy that unit at a dealer, and the customer beat the dealer up to the last penny, I guarantee you that dealer would have never hooked up water to that camper. He might have just thrown a faucet in the hole or something, but he would have never hooked up water, and that guy would have went down the road and flooded it. Mm-hmm. I had another one that actually bought a camper from Camping World, and he came here. He didn't like my price. Camping World was $3,000 cheaper. So he drove, I don't know, 500 miles, 600 miles to Camping World one way, bought it, and brought it back, came back home. He lives 15, 20 minutes from my dealership. And he backed it into his house. Literally, he crashed the whole back end of the camper, backing it into his driveway.
Oops.
So, yep. So, of course, he calls me. And but that's a whole different story, because that's an insurance claim, and I make more money rebuilding his camper than I would have selling it to him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so he brought the camper here. We did a insurance claim on it, and when I'm looking at this camper, and because I'm still trying to figure out how he beat my price by $3,000. Usually they're about $1,000, $1,500 higher than me, lower than me. So I'm looking at it closely, and I realized that the aluminum the aluminum skin that they have on this camper, as opposed to what I have, is much thinner. The underbelly, they completely changed the underbelly, where my product has corrugated plastic underneath, and this has nylon paper. There's no fender skirts. There's no trim on the bottom of the there was so many things scaled down in price. I was kind of surprised. Not an option. So I believe that they're having campers built especially for them, where they're taking actually quality out of the camper to get the cost down. So after, anyway, doing the insurance work, I convinced him to let me do a PDI on it and pay me $350 to do a PDI on it, to go through it, to make sure that everything's working, because I know the reputation that they don't prep their units. So I did. He paid me the $350 to do the PDI, and they didn't even hook up. There were no water lines hooked up to the back of the water heater. So the second he would have hooked up the water, he would have flooded it.
We need to break for a moment for a word from our sponsor, Fusion Entertainment. Combining industry-leading Garmin Fusion and Empire bus technology, the Garmin brand family solution provides you with a completely connected system, delivering you and your customers a superior on-road experience. Operation, navigation, entertainment. One solution, one company. For more information, be sure to visit www.fusionentertainment.com. Now let's go back to the interview with Gigi Stetler, the founder of The RV Advisor. It's important to have an RV inspected. I think any RV inspected, whether it's new or used, it's just good to have that extra set of eyeballs put on it.
Well, the thing is with an RV inspector, which, I think that's an amazing, great idea for a used one, like buying privately, it's a must. But if you're buying from a dealer, pay the dealer the PDI, because then if something's wrong with it and he did PDI it and you paid for the PDI, it makes them more accountable. But when you beat them up and you don't pay them for it, they're going to shrug their shoulders and say, well, there was nothing left to PDI it,
Right.
They got salesmen to pay, they got commission, they have commissions to pay, they got lights to pay, they got interest to pay, floor planning interest, they got all sorts of, of costs that go into selling an RV that people don't realize. So you've got to pay a dealer to do that inspection, because we don't get paid like that, hooking up that water heater. By the time, if I was to do that under warranty, by the time I got an approval, entered it online, submitted it, waited 3 days for them to get back to me, had to buy 3 hoses, give them the price of the hoses and this and that. By the time I'm done with all that, they're going to pay me $12.50. Huh. It's not worth me processing the claim.
Right.
Because it takes me 3 people to be involved in, at $15 an hour. It's not worth processing the claim. So I don't even process claims. I absorb that in my PDI, and that's that. And dealers would be able to do that. I charge $4.99 for if you were buying a unit from me to prep it, but in that price, like I don't make you wait. If I need a part, I pay for it. whether I bill it back or not later, you don't wait. I mean, my service is, you'll get it. If it's emergency, you get your coach back the same day, get in and out the same day. If it's a non-emergency, you get in the next day. So and a lot of local dealers, small time dealers, that's the service that you'll get if you go to those small mom and pop type dealerships.
Mm-hmm. So you think extended warranties are a good idea?
100%. And if you did buy it new and you weren't going to be on the road like I was suggesting, if you buy it new at the time of purchase, you actually get 7 years for the cost of what it would cost you to buy it for 4 years if you buy it used. That's the only difference. But if you're not out on the road and living in it, but if you're on the road for 4, 5, 6 months and it's inconvenient for you to be able to bring it back to the dealer for warranty work, then I recommend you to buy it and have them register it as used. That will only give you a 48-month warranty, but it's better than your factory warranty, but at least you can get service anywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. I know that there are a number of people that I have known who have bought extended warranties, and not one of them has considered it a waste of money.
It's not. Well, I think also I do see a lot of people complaining about their Good Sam's warranty. Reading the fine print on their warranty, and we do take Good Sam warranty, and for the most part, they're, out of all the extended warranty companies out there, they're probably the worst. They don't approve very much, but I think because they usually send an inspector and they will line item you so badly that what happens is shops will just not take the warranty. But for the most part, the rest of the warranties that we processed, and I've done probably $50 million worth of warranty claims. That's about the only one that I have that we struggled to get an approval on. But I find the only other problem that happens is the repair facility. It's all about the way the repair facility calls the claim in or diagnoses it. I've seen more misdiagnosing, and that's why the claim is turned down and customers are upset and they want to cancel their warranty because it's mainly the shop has made a mistake and they've misdiagnosed it, or it's not a covered part, and they're just not. You have to, and a lot of these mobile tech guys are very savvy. They're more savvy than the dealerships, because that's how they get paid. So they'll find a way to get something covered.
Sure. What's a good amount of insurance to have with an RV? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's another big mistake that people make. There's a difference between agreed value and ACV. If you don't pay for an agreed value, you automatically get ACV. ACV is called actual cash value. So the second you drive off that lot, you've just lost about 25% value. Actually, more than that if you had your sales tax and things like that. So let's say you have an accident and you total it in a month. You're going to lose 25 to 35%. If you do an agreed value, which costs you a little bit more, an agreed value, let's say you just pay $25,000 for it. So you insure it for the agreed value of $25,000. You pay a premium for $25,000. In 5 years from now, 4 years from now, they don't depreciate it. If something happened to that RV in a couple, 4 or 5 years down the road, you get $25,000.
Okay. I wasn't even aware that was available. See, I'm learning things from you, Gigi. That's really good. Okay. So any other things about insurance? I mean, a lot of people like to put their insurance on their insurance for their RV on their car policy. Is that a good idea?
If you do save money. What I kind of recommend is to try to bundle. And it depends on what insurance, like Progressive and Geico actually have a good policy where they will separate the RV. I do like for people to shop, because for two reasons. If you do a bundle, sometimes you're not paying attention to the RV and everything it needs. So if you did the RV by itself, the options available to you which is very important, like emergency. They have rental, they have emergency, you have trip interruption. well, rental reimbursement, but loss of use is another thing you could get on your policy, and then also your agreed value, which is important. But and that's contents. So they'll give you could get up to $10,000 in personal property. So if you live in it for 5 or 6 months out of the year, and you've got half your life in that RV, contents are important, and that may not be covered if you do a bundle and it's combined with your car and your house and stuff like that. So that's if you're full timing, or at least 6 months a year, seasonal or something like that, you may want to consider an independent policy.
Okay, that's good, solid advice. What about buying an RV? I know a lot of people are out there now looking and wanting to jump in time for summer. Are there some tips that you could provide real quick to help people through the buying process?
Well, that, as I was stating earlier, you got to. The first thing I always tell a customer when I talk to them when they come on the lot is the first thing you do, write on a piece of paper, what is your intended use? How often are you going to go out? The family, your immediate sleeping, your family sleeping size, not everyone else. And how often you're going to get to use it, and where are you going to store it? Does it fit in the side of the house? How much room do you have? Things like that. And a budget. So those are the things you write down on a piece of paper before you look at anything. Because then you narrow the scope, because you get when you go looking at RVs at the dealership, it's like Disneyland. You're so caught up in the moment and that's where 99% of the people make the mistake, because the salesmen are just urging you to buy exactly what they need to get rid of on the lot. And that's why the GPS service is kind of important. But I would give you that exercise if you hired me. That would be the first exercise that I would give you. And then I would narrow the scope after your first consultation. I would narrow the scope down to, okay, this is what you need. You need a travel trailer, not a motorhome. You need, if you are, this is the size, then I can kind of narrow it down so you're not at somebody's mercy of being able to basically sell you what they want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. That's good. How long does a typical sales process supposed to last? I mean, is this something that should be done in one day, or is it intended to drag on for a couple of days?
It shouldn't, and that I think that I don't know, I'm a impulse buyer, so I make up my mind. I see something I want. That's, so I guess, if it's something, what I think people will start looking now for next year. That happens, they just want to kind of see what's out there. So if you're not really in the market, you can't pull the trigger right now, there's nothing wrong with shopping, but have respect for the salesperson, because the salespeople at the dealerships are on commission. So if you're not buying, but you want education, and that's, and it's so important, and you should start educating yourself way in advance, because, as you aim towards retirement or whatever, is coming up. But, tell your salesman that you're not ready. You're not buying until X amount of time. You don't know really what you're looking for. And if you're honest with the salesman and he has time, you'll be surprised. They will give you, if they have knowledge, anyway, if you get the right salesman, hopefully you get an old timer that likes to talk, because they'll give you so much just information. And then that's kind of like what we have on our site, but that's what you need. You're there seeking information, not, starting to talk about price and things like that. Price should not be a factor if you're, a year out from now. You need to just educate yourself on types of products and stuff like that. So but if you are ready to buy, if you're ready to buy and you've narrowed it down, be so careful and not get caught up on price. Price is not everything. So, as far as what I tell a customer, if they're looking at 5 different models on my lot and they're confused, which I try to pre-qualify them, but let's say, and it happens a lot, they can't decide between 5 different ones, and they're all within a few $1,000s of each other. So what I tell customers, because they start to think they have a number in their head, and I tell them, so if they're all the same price, which one would you buy? And they pick out the more expensive one. because that's really what they want. So then I run the numbers and it ends up being $25 a month more. So I said, you need to buy that one, because if you don't buy that one, you're going to be sorry if you bought the other one for $25 a month, and you're going to come back and want to trade it in because that's not really what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So pretend they're all the same price. And I'm not talking from, $100,000 difference. I'm talking, within $5,000, $6,000 of each other. Calculated in financing dollars, it's usually $10 per thousand.
That's easy enough, and it should make, well, if that's what you want to buy, and that's all the price difference really is when it comes to payments, that should be something that I would think consumers would want to factor in to their decision-making process.
And that's why I said, try to, the first thing is you start off, in your budget, like within your budget, which is one of the homework things that, I tell you to do the budget, so start in that budget so that you're not looking at something that, is not obtainable, it's out of the price range, and then you don't confuse yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at too many RVs is overwhelming and confusing.
If people wanted more information about RV Advisor or how to tap into Gigi's personal service, where could they find that?
TheRVadvisor.com.
Okay. And the Gigi's personal service is one of the services that the RV Advisor offers.
Yes. And and like I said, in any stage of ownership, or, and the good thing with if you hire me before you buy it, I help you through that process. And I've recently, in the last week, got more customers out of bad contracts that are just still blowing my mind, that dealers are charging more if you pay cash than if you finance it. It is the newest, biggest scam out there.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Well, it does on the dealer side. If you were a dealer, you would understand what it is dealers make money on the back end. Most of their profit is back ended, so they're making 2 to 3 point spread on financing. But they'll get charged back if you pay it off. If you pay it off early, so they're penalizing you if you pay it off early, which is, it's a fine line. And I'm working with the Attorney General right now to figure out if that, is actually even legal, because there's such a thing called, right now all loans are simple interest loans, which have no prepayment penalty. And there used to be what's called a rule of 78, which means you pay 78% of the interest up front, whether you pay it off or not, early or not. So by putting this penalty, if you pay off your loan, it costs you more. Like this dealer's charging this customer $6,000 if he pays his loan off early. Well, now that means that's a prepayment penalty, and it's against the law to have a prepayment penalty now. So it's a fine line of legitimacy, and I'm working on that right now. But in the event, I did save the guy the $6,000. But I seem to be spending a lot of my time getting people out of bad contracts. So let me review those contracts before you sign them.
That's a good idea.
Any dealer that's going to offer you, make you sign a finance contract because it costs more, you run as far and fast away from that dealer as you can get.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. So people who want that kind of advice and want that kind of shopping help and want somebody to look over the paperwork before they sign it, can hire Gigi for $350, and that includes 3 consultations a year. That sounds like a good deal to me, Gigi. I hope
because not only to help you buy it, but then let's say you have an insurance problem, you call me again, like you had a fender bender, whatever. I can write an estimate off of pictures, and I'll get you a check, and you can go to your local dealer, go to the dealer of your choice. So, things like that. So that could be another consultation. And the third one, I can help you sell it or trade it in, give you true value. So it's not per conversation, it's per situation. So if you hire me to buy it, I'm going to go all the way through your purchase, your insurance, make sure your warranty is good, make sure everything before you drive off that lot is ready.
Super. Well, thank you again for taking the time to explain what the RV Advisor is all about. I hope a lot of people take advantage of it.
Thank you, Greg, and you have an amazing day.
If there's one way to describe Gigi Stetler, it's that she has a passion for the RV industry and the RV lifestyle, and she wants people to enjoy it by avoiding the pitfalls and problems that can often ruin an experience or devalue an investment that people have made. She's right that some of the problems in an ownership experience do fall to the consumer for not doing enough research before they enter the sales process, but that's where Gigi and her crew can help educate people on what to expect. That helps them from making emotional decisions in the moment that can cost them a lot of money down the road. She identified some pretty common mistakes that have impacted a lot of other people. For example, not buying from a local RV dealership is probably the biggest problem with the most consequences, and avoiding buying an RV at a great price with a title flagged as being as is. Not paying for a pre-delivery inspection is also a big problem that haunts new RV owners, but I had never thought about the problem of buying an RV for other people, not the folks who use it most. For example, I could easily see buying an RV to have space for my grandchildren when the grandchildren would only travel with me maybe 2 weeks a year, but I'd need an RV where I'd be comfortable the entire year. I was also unaware of the difference between agreed value and an actual cash value of an RV when it comes to an insurance settlement. That's why having an RV advisor would be a great idea, just to get expert advice, tips for improving the RV experience, or finding the right RV to match the lifestyle of the people buying it. People can check out the services offered by Gigi Stetler at www.thervadvisor.com. We'd like to thank Fusion Entertainment for sponsoring this week's podcast. Now available for the outdoors, Fusion's panel stereo is the ultimate all-in-one plug-and-play audio solution that combines all of the elements required for audio reproduction inside a single, perfectly tuned enclosure. Find out how the panel stereo can enhance your listening experience by visiting www.fusionentertainment.com. Thanks for listening.